Greetings, everyone. This is Freya Tyler from Decode Cafe. Welcome to our podcast on Major League Hacking MLH Fellowship Series. Today with me, I have Aman Raj. Aman contributed to Open Food Facts in GSOC 2022, and he was also part of MLH Fellowship in 2021. And he's a full stack developer, and he's also a mobile app developer. So, Aman, thank you for being part of our podcast. Can you please tell us about yourself and like your background in open source?
Okay, so thanks for the intro, Freya. So, about me, I'm currently in my final year. I started open source back in my second year of my college. I did MLH prep back in 2021 October month, and after that, like last year, I did contributed majorly as like a GSOC contributor under Open Food Facts. Like I'm still contributing, but like that's basically the journey. In between, I jump on internship. So like that's it for now.
Okay, that's interesting. Uh, to invite such an inspirational guest in our podcast is will be interesting for others. So let's go to MLH. So can you give us insight about the MLH Fellowship Program, and what motivated you to apply for that program?
Okay, so as being like a second year student, I was just desperately trying out to get into like as many programs as I can. I just wanted to explore a bit of everything in general. So in search of that, and like I found a few of people on LinkedIn like posting about MLH fellowship. So I just googled about it and the experience. And when I read about it, it felt something that I wanted to go for. Like having your own teammates and like working on a common problem for that time, uh, being in a part of a team and like working together, getting teammates itself, it was just like one of my needs, you could say, that I wanted and wished for. So MLH fulfilled exactly that. That's why like I went ahead and applied for it platform for it.
Okay, can you? There are maybe someone who doesn't know about the MLH Fellowship Program. So, can you tell us about the Major League Hacking Program, like how it is? How can we participate?
Okay, so if we first go about MLH Fellowship Program, like there are basically three parts in it. So there was MLH Prep, there is the Fellowship Open Source batch, and the another is the Software Engineering batch, and there is one called DevOps kind of thing. So these are the tracks that MLH provides. So if we reiterate over like all the possible options, in MLH prep, you are getting trained to what an actual MLH fellowship experience is going to be. Just get a taste of how fellowship works, how in general like the time criteria is, and it's sort of like a preparation to get you into full fellowship. About MLH fellowship, it's like a 12-week program where you get paired with an open source organizations, your teammates, and like basically a pod you can say, a bunch of people, like a team in general, you could say. You are also provided with a pod leader where like you can discuss about any issues or like road breakers that you're hitting. So in general, you are paired with a good team, a great mentor, and an organization on like whom problem you will be working for the duration of 12 weeks. So within like these time frames, even like when you talk about prep or fellowship, you like got to learn how to work in collaboration, and like you basically connect with every people around us. You like what you make connections, like they really stick by you. So these are like the perks and a little bit about MLS fellowship.
So it means like if we participate in MLH, we have a good team and we can also solve problems and we will also have mentors and there is also a payment for that. I think it will be interesting to go for it.
Yeah.
So another
Uh,
thing is like, okay,
about the payment thing, I guess the it's you are not like required to take it. It's optional. If you want it, then you can like apply to get for it. And the payments, the stipends are just for the 12-week programs. For the prep batches, it as of what I know, it's not available. It's just for the 12-week programs.
Okay. Aman, can you walk us through the application process for MLH program? Like, what kind of things you need for applying? Uh, can you give us like a guideline for in order to apply for MLH?
Okay, so one of the most interesting thing about MLH fellowship is their hiring process, like how they select. The selection process is like quite assuming, to be honest. Mostly when you apply somewhere, they you are asked questions like DSA and stuff. In MLH fellowship, the first criteria, like when you apply, you have to fill out an long essay questions. So the initial round of criterion is that those essay questions. So if you're trying to apply for that, fill those questions with your uttermost like honesty, and in that also like you are also asked about an open source or like a sample project. It can be anything, like any small app you made or anything you hacked over hackathon. So it needs to be something that you made and like you're proud of. It shouldn't be something just a single page, and definitely not any DSA question stuff. It need to be a web app, mobile app, or something that makes sense, that is like solving a problem. So you are asked essay questions about why you want to be a fellowship and like what changes you're thinking to bring. And other than that, about technical things, you are asked about what project like you are proud of and a brief description about it, like, and how you were able to made it like achieve the uh, end goal. So when it comes about like interviews round, there are two rounds. Once you get selected via the initial round, that is like getting screened based on your essay answers, you get to get schedule a meeting, the first one is 15 minutes just to assessment of your audio and visual check. Since like MLH fellowship is a remote thing, so they need to just make sure that you are capable with a good camera, mic, and internet connection, so that you can easily communicate with other like your other teammates. So in the first round, when you get to connect with your interviewer, they basically check if you really know about what fellowship is, your internet connection is proper, and like you can easily communicate with others. Like once you are done with the first round, if you successfully pass it, in the second round, you are asked questions on your project what you submitted. So suppose like I submitted a project, the interviewer go through and like ask you in general, like describe it, how you did it, uh, maybe like why you made it in Flutter, or why you made it in this particular tech stack, why you used this. There isn't something questions that's too much technical. They will just ask you how you were able to do it, and questions related to what you did in the project. They even can like ask you to explain a piece or like piece block of code from your project. So like this is it, and once you are done, if it's a prep fellowship, you are like judged on these things. But if you are aiming for a 12-week fellowship like the open source batch or the software engineering batch, you are then further asked about to fill a survey form where you will be matched on the partner organizations. So up until this point, this is like what you are in control. But if you are submitting like going through the 12-week program, you have to like see if the organizations that are like searching for folks and you match that criteria, then you get selected for the 12-week program. So this is like the whole selection process of MLH fellowship.
Okay, so it's more like at the first round, you need to feel like essays, you need to write essays. Then after that, it's the interview process, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so Aman, like there is someone who doesn't have any contribution in open source or who hasn't started any working on projects. So what's your advice for that kind of person? Like in order to apply for MLH, where should we start?
Okay, so in order to apply for MLH, you didn't need to be a pro in like open source. Quite honestly, like most of the things about working in collaborations, at least like solving merge conflicts, I learned during my time in MLH. Like back in October, I learned those things. So definitely, they are not seeking someone pro in like open source. At that particular time, I like haven't even started open source. So in general, you need to just have a project of your own that you like made yourself so that you are comfortable explaining it. It doesn't need to be super high tech. It needs to be something you just made and like you are able to successfully explain, and that's it. And like there you need to be showing willingness how why you want to be a part of MLH team. Since I told you like the initial round of judgment is your essay answers. If you like answer those questions, the essay answers in a precise way, you are more likely to get selected than other other ways around.
Okay, Aman. You were telling me about the interview process, like interview round. So is it more like a technical question? You also told me like it's not more of a technical question, like you need to explain your project. But like, can you give like more detailed information about the interview process? Like, how did you prepare for the interview?
Okay, so I told you like there were two steps in MLH fellowship programs or interviews. The first one is the basic readiness check, where like they assess if you are able to communicate properly with the team. Since most of the people come around from different places, so they need to make sure that you are able to communicate properly in English. Okay, other than that they need to check if you have proper internet connection and like a proper audio and visual video setup. So when you're connecting with your teams, you will easily communicate. The first round is just basically about it. They just want to ask you, do you know what you have applied for? You know about MLH fellowship? Okay, give us an intro about yourself. And this like your audio and video works fine, that's it, and you can just proceed to the next part. In the second round of interviews, once you like pass the first round, the second round is basically asking questions, technical questions about the project you have submitted. So they can ask you, if you submitted a project, what this piece of code does, and like what these things are, how did you hack this project. So maybe you used authentication services. They can ask you like, why haven't you hashed the passwords and stuff. It's basically going to just it you guys, it isn't like something really hard. Just take it as like you are explaining to a friend, and someone senior to you, they can like even give you suggestions. Okay, you could have done better like this, you could have tried this and stuff. So this is it. I take for personally for me, I didn't find it like very difficult. It was something I enjoyed talking with the like the interviewer. So uh, it can like depend from person to person, to be honest.
Okay, Aman. Like, after finishing the interview process, then like let's say you get selected. So what's the next step?
Okay, so I was a part of the MLH prep fellowship, so I can explain about the prep in like detail. So initially, when you are like selected, they match you in groups, like they call it pod, where I was like among one of the 14 people in my pod, and there is a mentor assigned. So in prep, we usually deal with small projects that are designed just to teach us about how we can collaborate in general. So from the first day start, we are like told about how what we are going to do, and we are made into smaller teams. And after that, like over the weeks, we work on those projects and talk with our teammates and like other people. And in between, we are also provided with some content like that teaches how to properly and effectively communicate and use version control systems. In between, like we are also asked to get on touch with every other people in their pod. So if I have like there are 14 people in the team, I have to go schedule a meet with everyone, even the pod leader as well, so that we could like get to know them, what they page are on and stuff like that. So these things continue over the 3 weeks, and at end when we are done, we yeah, I missed one part also, like when we were doing these things, every Tuesday, I remember the day may like vary, we are asked to like present about anything in general, like do a simple presentations. We used to call it lightning talks. So these are just to like boost your speaking and presentation skills. So in general, it's like a whole package of things that are being done just to get you, like well prepared for the upcoming things. Become good of a developer in general.
Can you give us more details, like what kind of projects? Like they were small projects, right?
So yeah,
Okay, so like, can
yeah.
you, yeah, focus on a
Okay.
specific project
So
and tell us?
yeah, okay, and I'll go ahead. So in prep, we the first week we had to do you could say portfolio kind of project. It was there. So like this was a small project like where every people in your odd or like every teammate needs to have their photos on that particular website. It's, you could call it like a portfolio website for every people in the team. You could say it's like just a portfolio for the whole team, and we were like assigned we were to like work in collaboration on this like project. So some people can like say, okay, I'll work on improving the images section. Some like said like, okay, I'll integrate better css and it stuff like that. So like in this process we were like doing pull request and like solving merge conflicts and stuff. And like this was what went for the first week. For the second and third week we made a weather app. So you could be like just a weather app, what interesting can happen. But over the period of 2 weeks, people like all the teammates came up with pretty interesting ideas. There were like, I remember like I together with my teammate we integrated a voice chat in like AI kind of thing in our project. So you could just imagine the simple project is like just a you search for a city and you get the weather. But after the end of 2 weeks, it was something that you will be like very amazed to see what people like were able to achieve during the phase of those 2 weeks. So this was something interesting and like got to learn a lot about these things. If you talk about tech stacks, in the first week it was Ruby, Jekyll, JavaScript. In the second week it was a React project. Yeah,
Okay, like we can see that you would start from small projects, then you'll start developing your skills, like working, solving on different problems. Like, I think I'm sure you have learned a lot from those uh, weeks you were working on the MLH programs. Okay, so you
yeah,
told me like,
definitely.
yes, like you worked on different tech stacks. So what kind of skills like you develop like you after being part of that program, like including
Okay.
the React and the Ruby? What else did you learn?
Okay, so the most interesting part you could say I learned about was about learning about version control system like Git and GitHub in general. I learned to solve merge conflicts. This is something as a developer you have to eventually learn. This is what I learned early because of MLH Fellowship. Other than that, I learned a lot of soft skill values. Like I used to communicate properly with my team. That was something that I learned very early because of MLH. And the technical skills were like I told you, Ruby, Jekyll, JavaScript, React. So these were in general like the tech stacks. But the most important part was about the soft skills and the experience that you get where like when I did become a part of the fellowship, there were a lot of people who had been like doing really well in their careers. Some were like doing internships at big tech giants like Microsoft, Google, Flipkart, and some had been like previous GSOC students. To be honestly, I did like cared enough to go for GSOC just because I knew there was someone on my team in my MLH prep that I got inspired to like take my step further. So the whole journey, like the awesome set of people you meet, shapes you into a kind of a more confident man or like a woman like you have been earlier. So the soft
Yeah.
skills, the interpersonal skills that you develop are far more better than like any technical skills that we get there.
That's really interesting, Aman. Honestly, like you told me, like you like even working in groups, like it will increase your communication skills. Like, as a programmer, as a developer, like merging is one of the difficult things for me, like personally. So it will help you like develop your skill, like increase your skill. So earlier you told me like a mentor will be assigned to you. So can you tell us about your experience with the mentor? Like, how was the mentorship?
Okay, so our pod, like we had a pod of 15 people, 14 people. Our board member was like very supportive. She guided us like how the program is supposed to be, how things are like to be done. And at end of every day, we used to have like our daily meetups. So we used to discuss like what problems we are having, what issues we are facing right now with the team or in general. So we used to like sit together at that time. We could discuss it with our podmates and the pod leader, like what exactly it is. The usually it was like someone from the team itself were able to solve it. The pod leader like basically smile at us, and she was happy that we were learning a lot during these sessions. And like whenever we got stuck, there was someone in the team itself to help it out and see. As like you can imagine, just the pod leader as a teacher who was there to guide you through this all. And like whenever we got something stuck really hard, she was there to rescue for it. So yeah, this is like what the role has been of our pod leader.
Yeah, like I can see that it's more like a friendship relation, like someone who is working with you will be a mentor, and at another time will be another one. I think like it's quite a good experience. So you told me like MLH has helped you in lots of things, even you applied for GSOC after that, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, okay. So like to generalize it, like how does MLH help you in your personal and professional development?
So before MLH Fellowship, I was just develop a guy like who was trying to do his own stuff, coming from a small town or like small city. I didn't need much of exposure. MLH finally gave me the confidence to talk to people, got to work in teams and like make better connections. Other than that, like I got to learn about a lot of technical skills. Like someone could say there's like basics. Like I told you, solving merge conflicts and like working in teams. This is something that stayed me over and like helped me even during my GSOC journey. And other than that, like I talked to a lot of people in my team. They were like really great fellows, and like I got inspired a lot. So the overall interpersonal skills, like how my mindset was initially blocked and limited to what I was. And like after going to MLS fellowship and then meeting with the people in the team in that pod, I I like explored all the possible outcomes that could happen. My mind was like at a much broader and at a point like where I could think of like I can also do stuff and other things. And so yeah, that was like the overall experience of mine. It's something if you are a student, definitely you should try, because like once you go into MLH fellowship, even if it's a prep batch, you like it saves you into entirely something. You could call it a good developer in general. So yeah, that's it.
So it will bring you from nothing to a good developer, like a skilled and a confident developer, right?
Yeah, that's the exact word. So if you're applying for MLH fellowship, in prep at least I could say, just even like whatever batch you are applying to, just be truthful in your essay applications. I read somewhere in there's like 80% of the applications gets rejected in the first phase itself. So take your time in writing your essay applications. Like just write what you actually feel, what or like how you why you want to be a part of fellowship. Just be yourself, don't like copy paste someone else answers or something like that. Just take proper time. You can take I usually complete my like application in 2 days or 3 days. So if you are not able to finish it in one go, that's totally fine, because it's not supposed to be. It can take anywhere between 1 hour to 2 hours to just fill the form. So fill the essay questions with uttermost care and like what you actually believe. And about the project sample, like submit something that you made yourself. Usually people what they do is like they copy paste stuff from like you could say tutorial kind of thing. They watch any tutorial and what they made, they just try to present it to the MLS team. The interviewer isn't someone like a fool. They can know if it's not what you have made, it's like something else. It just shows up. you can't like hide it. So just don't try these things. So like present something that you have made yourself, and yeah, just be yourself. If you just follow these norms, you write the essay questions well, and you talk properly with the interviewer, and you're just good to go with. And if you're like applying for the 12-week programs, the open source batch or the software engineering ones, even if like you're totally okay, you did all your part good, still you can be rejected, because at times it can be like there are there are not any matching organizations for like your role. So don't get disheartened if that happens. Happened with me, like
Yeah, Aman,
at least.
like the purpose of the interview, I think it's like to check if you did the project by yourself or not. We have learned a lot from you, Aman. Thank you for being part of our podcast. I'm hoping to see you again. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me, and yeah, have a great day. Bye bye, see you around.